Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode. If you love animals, you know how hard it is to turn a blind eye when you see one in trouble. When they look into the eyes of an animal, they feel like they are linked to that animal. Animal fans will understand Jill Hicks's situation because she was in the same one. One night, Jill Hicks was going to dinner. She took the highway to get to the restaurant where she was meeting her friend January. She saw a small, soft thing running down the side of the road on her way there. It was too close to the cars to be safe. She really loved animals, so even though she was already late to meet Jan, she chose to help it. It never occurred to her what would happen when she swerved off the road that night. Jill thought she saw a rabbit running along the side of the highway. Her heart began to beat fast. When she thought about how their noses and ears were moving, she had to go help it. She had no doubt that the animal she ran to wasn't a rabbit when she got out of the car. It was a cat. She fell in love with it as soon as she picked it up and looked into its eyes. She took out her phone and texted Jan that she would be late because an animal needed her help. This was something Jan was used to seeing from Jill. She knew how she was. Jill was very scared after what happened when she put the kitten in the back of her car. Jill began to make it very clear that she was unhappy when she put the kitten in the back of her car. She was jumping around and scratching the furniture. She looked completely shocked. Jill began to worry. That kitten looked like this in the back of her car. I wonder what it would be like with her 3 other pets at home. Jill was about to find out the worst way possible. Jill didn't take any chances when she brought the kitten home. She made a box for the kitten in her shed, which was different from her house. It seemed tired and ready to be quiet. At long last. When she heard the door creak open, chaos broke out. Even though Bob was a West Highland Terrier, his nose was like a bloodhound's. As soon as he walked into the room, he knew something wasn't right. He jumped up and howled at the kitten while his hair stood up straight on his back. The kitten hissed and jumped out of the basket, so Jill had to grab her to keep her safe. In the process, she cut Jill's face. This was just the start of Jill's problems. That's when Jill heard her Jack Russell Terrier, Mimi, barking and howling angrily from the door. The kitten had had enough and jumped up on Jill's desk, where she was studying. She told herself, no, no, no. Her newly bound thesis for her PhD in animal behavior was sitting on the desk. This is where she studied. She had to turn it in tomorrow morning, which was the last day. Jill did nothing but stand there and watch what happened. As she fought off the hungry dogs, Jill stood there helpless as she watched the kitten tear up her thesis, which she had spent a lot of time on. Due to her stupid kindness, she was going to fail her whole doctorate in missing a party with a friend. She was incredibly angry. In her anger, she found something she never would have thought of. The kitten was bothering Jill too much. She loved animals, but she was going to fail her doctorate unless she could turn things around by tomorrow at 10 a.m. Jan, her best friend, also texted her, "You're such a bad friend. I bet you wish I was a kitten, Jill." Well, guess what? Kittens won't hold your hair back while you throw up and cry about breaking up with Damien. Jill was really sad. Jan got a picture of the cat from her. "Sorry, girl, I just can't say no to that face," the fussy animal lover said. Jan, who was very good at observing wildlife, saw something strange about the kitten right away. When Jan told Jill to post a picture of the cat in a Facebook group for wildlife lovers, she got a reaction that made her very angry. Jill had swerved in front of a cute little bunny, but it turned out to be a baby bobcat. Oh no! That's where her kind heart really let her down. The person in the Facebook group suggested a wildlife refuge for bobcats and other wild cats. When Jill called them, she was there with the kitten at their door in an hour. They were sure it was a fox and thanked Jill for being nice. Before she could say goodbye, Jill had to go back and figure out what to do with her doctorate. If she didn't, she would have failed. Jill hurried home and took one last look at her doctorate. The whole thing was destroyed. She could feel her heart dropping to the bottom of her stomach. She looked up places to bind doctoral theses on Google and found one that was open at 9 a.m. right next to her college. When she got there at 9 a.m., the clerk told her she would have to wait 45 minutes. Jill was cutting her hand very close to the deadline. She ran like her whole academic future depended on it when she got it. Her only choice was to decide what would happen. As luck would have it, Jill turned in her dissertation just in time. When her professor saw Jill, she yelled out loud. She was standing at her desk and watching her watch. She was thrilled and said, "I thought you wouldn't make it." Jill thought, "What a stupid woman." Even though she uploaded her soft copy more than 2 weeks ago, Professor Groney was very old-fashioned and demanded that both the hard copy and the soft copy had to be turned in on time or nothing was considered to have been turned in. When she got out of college, she went to finally meet up with her friend Jan to enjoy her freedom. On the way, she saved a baby bobcat. That's it for today, friends. Please let us know what you think about this story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon for more amazing stories.